Is this thing on? Oh, hi. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thanks for joining. I'm really excited to share that I've been growing a little bit. Here's my little humble 18 subscribers, but honestly, it just means a lot to me. And if you're new here, thank you, and thank you for subscribing. I know it's not a huge number yet, but I can't begin to express to you how much it means to me. I'm sitting here with a literal tear in my eye because I never really thought that I could do this channel, and the fact that I'm here doing it and it's already gaining some traction that I honestly thought wouldn't happen at all, it just really warms my heart. So thank you so much again for joining and supporting and continuing to support this channel. I am going to make it my personal goal that when I get to 20 subscribers, I'm going to Texas Roadhouse and I'm ordering 20 rolls as a celebration. It's a little treat for myself. F the calories. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to have that little spiel because it really means a lot to me. It keeps me going to know that folks are engaged or enjoying the content, and I can't wait to just see where it goes from here. Anyway, back to the build. I'm here in Strangerville. We are doing a community lot. I love community lot builds. I was talking to my brother the other day about, I feel like folks typically gravitate towards houses and apartment builds, and we don't, there's traction with community builds, but I just don't quite see it that often or as much. It's mainly house builds, and I don't know, me personally, I love community lots. I love watching community lot builds. They're just really interesting to me to see people's different takes and building in a style or with items to get creative with that they normally wouldn't build with. So I love community lots and watching them and creating them. So I'm here doing kind of a strip mall vibe here in Strangerville. Strange choice, I know. Strangerville is not always somewhere where I build, but it was calling out to me. I don't really know why. Is it the orange hues? Maybe. I don't know. But this build in particular, I've kind of had on my mind for a while now, and I just decided that Strangerville would be the great place for it, since it's kind of run down a little bit, this community lot. I would imagine that this was built sometime in I don't know, the 60s, 50s, maybe got renovated in the 70s, 80s, and just hasn't been renovated since. So I wanted to have that vibe here, and I think Strangerville is just the perfect place for kind of that dingy, rundown-esque feel. So yeah, that was the personal choice for why I chose Strangerville. And the lighting on this lot is just really nice in the evening. Again, it just kind of added to that 70s, 80s feel and dingy aesthetic. I don't know why. Strangerville's got something in it. But yeah, we're here doing the laundromat. There is also going to be a boba and donut shop on the corner, and then a dive bar that I built on the side with the alleyway. All great for gameplay, I think. It's unfortunate that it doesn't function the way that I would want or intend. I'm curious to see how the new pack is gonna work, and if I could potentially have this be a revisit and fix it up so that it works for that new pack, because I think that this would be just a really fun lot to play on. You can get your laundry done, you could go get boba and donuts, and then you could also go to the dive bar at night. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how the new pack really affects these kind of builds going forward. But here I am in the laundromat. I put up this little TV. Okay, listen, it doesn't work. Obviously, the Sims are just what do I do? I can't access it. They like do the little arm wave, like, hello, can't do anything about this. But I just thought it was nice to have as like an aesthetic choice. I know personally when I've gone to laundromats, there's like a TV or a radio or something. And yeah, I wanted to show that here in this build. And I kind of go back and forth with this tile that's here. It doesn't stay, I promise you. It does get used though in this build. I kept coming back to it. Like, I love this tile. I really want it. It didn't work here for me. It does change, but we do it in the boba and donut shop. But I really like this laundromat. Again, it kind of just gives that older, dingy feel. And like I said, I have like some experience in some laundromats. When I was in college, I didn't have a washer and dryer. Fun fact, I used to live in a yurt when I was in college. So I would have to drive from my yurt up in the hills down to a laundromat to get my laundry done. And I would usually bring like my laptop and my backpack, and I would get a lot of like studying done while my clothes were washing. So I've had a lot of experience in laundromats. But as in particular for what I'm doing right now, I thought it was really fun to do this kind of like broken, because when you go to a laundromat, not all the machines are working. So I just put these little like shopping cart X symbol things on it. Obviously that's that's an out of stock sign, but I just thought it would work for like an out of order sign as well too. And then I put like a toy chest inside so that the Sims wouldn't be able to use it. And they can't use it. I've tried it. They will just do again the hand wave thing, like, hello, help me out here. But it's interesting. When I was player testing this lot, there were Sims that were coming in and like turning on the laundry and like doing laundry. Maybe that's normal. I don't know. This is probably my first laundromat build. Yeah, it is my first laundromat build. So I don't really know if that's like normal. Let me know. But I thought that was cool. I was like, okay, well, it kind of looks like it works. But anyway, we keep going on with the build. I kind of like have all of these chairs at like a slant to just give it a lived-in look, like folks are actually sitting in there. And then that little box on the table, I'm assuming that's like a lost and found box for items that are lost and found. And then I do use like the debug ticket machine and then the ATM. It looks a little janky, but I imagine that this place is pretty run down and they are just getting by with what they can do. So they've fixed up that ATM machine with some rope. And I do have a household that's in Strangerville who are going to be the primary ones at this lot. I have Clyde Hayes. He is the plumber and mechanic for this community lot, for this strip mall. He's not a great Sim. He's actually kind of mean, hot-headed, and he does have a wife, Bonnie. You see what I did there? Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie is the bartender at the dive bar, and I believe that she probably inherited this strip mall, or at least I would say the strip mall, from her grandfather, like years ago, right? Grandfather probably owned the strip mall and then passed it down on generations, and now Bonnie has it, and she's the dive bar bartender, the barkeep, and she's a tough Sim. She's self-assured, but she's really nice. So I think she gets a lot of folks coming to the dive bar at night just to hear her stories and her crazy antics. She's just really lively, and she's a good time. But that's kind of who I have here on the lot. And then in these bathrooms, I only show one. It's kind of dingy, and I had that for the majority of the bathrooms. The dive bar bathroom, disgusting, okay? But this laundromat bathroom, it's just a little scuffed up. I didn't want it to be disgusting. I just wanted it to look a little run down. But yeah, I like the way that we have some of those items now to kind of give builds a little bit more character. I then start adding some more details, like this little cabinet here in the bathroom. I imagine that's where Clyde keeps his wrenches and tools and whatnot. And he just goes in the bathrooms to fix the washing machines that are forever breaking. And then you have plungers all around the place, because I imagine that they use those. I don't know. I'm not a plumber. I am not a mechanic. But for some reason, I imagine that a plunger would be used in a washing machine, or if not there, then at least somewhere else. But then we go outside and I start adding a few more details to just make the lot come alive. I do a lot more of the detailing off camera just because it's kind of redundant and a lot of me just waffling around of like, does this look good? No, let me delete that. But that is pretty much it for the laundromat build. You'll see more of it in the video tour. Next, we're going to move on to the dive bar. So this is a dive bar. It's called Mickey's Last Call. Again, I imagine Mickey is probably Bonnie's grandfather who owned the strip mall. Maybe he actually owned the bar first and then was able to buy out the strip mall in general. Maybe the owner of the strip mall was going to sell it and Mickey was not having it. He was like, absolutely not. You're not getting rid of my bar. No, over my dead body, right? And he bought the strip mall, and I think he became kind of like this local hero, right? Because they were probably gonna demo the strip mall after selling it, or put up one of those fancy sky rise, the city sky rises. But that didn't happen, right? Mickey bought it and saved the town strip mall. Which is just interesting to think about. I don't know. Strangerville again is such a strangeville. It's just a funny town. But here I am decorating the outside. There's a little cocktail bar sign, probably telling folks about the happy hour that's going to be happening. It's a happy hour that never changes. They don't erase that chalkboard ever. It's always the same deal, maybe a $2 mystery shot or something like that. And maybe I don't know, a discount on some Bud Light. Something just so generic, but yeah, the sign never changes. It just stays out there. And then I go ahead and use the tool mod to add a bit more decorations. This is the first time I've ever used the tool mod. It was a lot easier than I expected. I had to play around with it, obviously, but I was intimidated by it, and for no reason, because it wasn't that bad. And I'm waiting for Twisted Mexi to fix the Better Build By mod and the tool mod, because it is broken since that new update that was released by The Sims. And then at the outside, you'd see it very briefly. I did put that little grungy chair, a little bowl, I assume is the ashtray, and then a lighter. I think people probably smoke their cigarettes outside of this dive bar, like any other dive bar you would see in America. But yeah, here I go, and I'm adding in the bar. I start with this thinking oh, it's Strangerville, obviously, this is the bar that you use for Strangerville. It just wasn't doing it for me though, so I do change a lot in the bar. The bar back stays. I think the bar back was fine, but the actual bar, I wanted it to elevate up to the ceiling. So you see there, I pull out the new one and I say, yeah, that one just feels a lot better. And yeah, it has kind of a pub English vibe to it, but I think it works here too for a dive bar. It just made more sense, made the space feel a little bit more enclosed and divey. And then I go back and forth with the tile again. I think you see that green tile. I keep trying to use it, but then I come up with this green concrete, and I think it looks just a lot better. Right now, I think at this point I'm still not sold on it, eyeballing it. I don't like the way this green looks, but it does come together with the lighting, and then I add some more detailing onto the floor, scuff marks and just dirt and grime, so then it starts feeling like the dive bar that we all know and love. So yeah, and then the tile on the wallpaper actually changes too. I don't keep that. I originally liked it because it kind of felt like clapboard or like just kind of old wood that you would see in an older bar. But I do change it for something a little grungier, and I just think it wraps everything around a lot better. I'm curious what your experiences with dive bars are where you're at, if you're of age to go to a dive bar. I have had a lot of experience. That doesn't sound great, but I've been to a number of bars, like both like, you know, kind of upscale fancy and dive bars, and there's just something about dive bars that, I don't know, they all just have the same kind of feeling, and I don't know how that feeling has been distilled over the years. Why I feel a certain way at like a very fancy lounge or like a little bit more posh of a bar versus like a dive bar. They all do the same thing, right? They're serving drinks, it's communal, you're there for like a good time. But dive bars just have a different feeling, a little sketchy, a little sticky. My shoes are always like sticking to the floors after. A little stinky sometimes. And you know, I don't know. I just think it's an interesting phenomenon, like the fact that dive bars are a thing. But you know, like I said, we all have one, we all know one, we all love one. And here I have like a ton of decorations laid out. I'm sure you saw that like appear on screen earlier. I save you the anguish of me trying to figure out where to put all of these paintings and items on the wall. You see a little bit of it, but I cut out a majority of it because I too was struggling, and you know, I'm gonna take that bullet for you because it was kind of annoying, but we figured it out, and I think in the end, like, it really does look like a dive bar where there's just so much shit everywhere on the wall and just on the floor, right? And there's hardly any space to move sometimes in dive bars. So I think that I captured that essence pretty well. And then this dartboard I thought was funny. Like, could you imagine like just darts flying right there? But you know what? Also kind of makes sense for a dive bar that it would just not be safe. And part of this build does get cut out. I'm really sad about it. My file corrupted, and yeah, you don't see some of the rest of the build. I do show it towards the end, like just a snippet of like, hey, here's what I've done. But yeah, my file got corrupted and it deleted the footage that I had for the end bit, which was really unfortunate. I almost quit and threw away the whole video over that. Like, how dramatic am I? That's so freaking ridiculous. But there is a story. There is a corner little table right by the band place or the stage, and it's just filthy. There's so many bottles. It's like looks like someone pissed themselves or something. I don't know. But my thought is that there's probably this old guy who comes every Thursday through Sunday. He's here and he's listening to the band play, and he is just drinking away his liver. And he's just sitting there and he's grungy and everyone knows him. And they're like, hey Pete, I don't know, his name's not Pete probably, but they're like, hey Pete, here's your drink that you always get and your $2 mystery shot. Have a good time in your corner, in your piss corner. That was my thought with building that out. I'm so sad you don't get to see me like make it disgusting, but that's okay. If you download this build, which by the way you can, it's saved on the gallery under flooploopsbuilds, you'll get to place this on your save file as well. It's where the 8 bells bar is, but yeah, and you'll get to see Pete's nasty corner. That this has also been here. Maybe it wasn't always a boba and bites place, or a boba and donut shop place. I originally just wanted to have it be a donut shop, but I just didn't think that would be so functional for like the community lot, so I made it into a boba and donut shop. That way at least you can hire a vendor and there's someone there to tend the boba bar, and your sim can go up and order like some boba, and then I had my sim go in and place some donuts and pastries and whatnot in the actual display case, so it looked like it was actually, you know, functional. But again, back to what I was gonna say, I think that this build again has been here. I don't think it always was a boba and donut shop. I think it was probably some other kind of kitchen. Maybe it was like a small breakfast diner. I imagine that, you know, businesses have come and gone in this space, for whatever reason, just not successful, or, you know, people have moved on. But this one has been long standing. Like it is fairly newer to the strip mall at least, but it's been here the longest. And I think that they have like the original windows of the strip mall. Yeah, I think that this has been like a long-standing building here, but that they do semi-update the interior. It's still kind of old. It's still a little dingy, but it's clean, right? It's a good place to get your donuts and your boba, your bubble tea. Is it boba or bubble tea? I think it's bubble tea, right? Boba is like the actual pearl, right? I don't know. I'm not that well versed in tea, so maybe I should look that up before speaking on it. But yeah, it's a tea place and donut place, and I decorate the kitchen, and the bathroom is definitely a lot cleaner than the other two's bathrooms. I imagine that the owner of the donut shop keeps everything really clean and tidy to attract more customers in this dingy strip. But and here I go again with that tile. Watch, it's gonna come. There it goes. I say finally, I think it works in here, right? Like it looks like it would be there, right? But yeah, I have the kitchen set up. The kitchen is semi-functional, like it's pretty tight. I was thinking about doing a basement down into this build so that you could put your cupcake factory there and actually bake some donuts and pastries. Funny story. I have mods in my game, obviously, and I was freaking out because I had seen the cupcake machine before in my game, and when I was playing and building this, you know, build out, I didn't see it. And I said, where did it go? I know I'm not crazy. I like searched Reddit, the EA forums. I was freaking out, like, where the hell did this cupcake factory go? And then I call my brother and I'm like, look, you need to hop on your game right now. I need to know if I'm crazy or not. And he was like, it's right here. So then I'm freaking out because I'm like, okay, does the Sims team hate me? Did they just delete my cupcake factory? Obviously, that's not the case. And he was like, girl, are you dumb? It's one of your mods. One of my mods, like the Sixum mod, was like overriding the cupcake factory. So yeah, that was fun. All that to say, I didn't build a basement in this build. You're gonna have to get your donuts another way. If you want to add a basement and put the cupcake factory, I think you could. I think maybe this build doesn't need a bathroom since there are 2 other bathrooms on the lot. You could just make that into like a staircase down into the basement and have like a full commercial kitchen with the cupcake factory there. At least that was my plan. If you have a better plan, please go for it. I'm not always the best with my ideas, so that just might not be a good one, but that was what I was gonna do. And here shortly, we're gonna move into the interior of the donut shop and place some tables and chairs and whatnot. I have some fun signs too. I bet that like neon sign is just like the Krispy Kreme sign. When it's hot and ready, they put it on. When it's cold and stale, they turn it off. But you know, they probably keep it on hot and ready all the time, the same way Krispy Kreme does. I swear to God, like the Krispy Kreme down the street from my house, that light is always on. It's never off. But I imagine they probably do the same thing at this donut shop. It's just on all the time. They're not using it the way they're supposed to be. But anyway, I am going to start tapering off this build because we are getting close to the end for the video tour, and I just really, again, want to express how much it means to me that you all are engaging with my content. I don't even have words. And again, I'm such small potatoes right now, but like, even the small potatoes I'm eating, I'm loving it. Like, I really just am enjoying my time doing this. It's such a passion of mine to do builds like this, and you know, eventually I want to get into gameplay and film some of that stuff too, and film some other things. It doesn't always need to be The Sims. I'm primarily doing Sims builds, but I would love to venture out and would love to know what the community would like to see. So please leave in the comments what you would like to see as far as gameplay or builds or just anything. If there's a different game that you'd like me to try out, would love to do that. I'm so happy that I'm building this community here. I hope you're happy to be here too. And yeah, I can't express my gratitude enough. Please get me to Texas Roadhouse for those 20 rolls. I am so dead serious. I cannot wait. I keep telling my husband, like, as soon as it gets to 20, we're out of here. We're packing up the car. We're taking the baby. I'm getting my Texas Roadhouse rolls. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. Like I said, it just means really a lot to me. I hope that you continue to support the channel, and you can do so by liking and commenting and engaging and subscribing. And I hope to see you in the next one. I do uploads every Friday, and I just have some really cool ideas up my sleeve. I can't wait to share them with you all. Have a good weekend. I'll see you next Friday. Thank you so much. Bye, loves.